Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. We have got a fantastic breakdown prepared for you today. We are officially gearing up for Quiz 1, and to make absolutely sure you're ready, we're going to unpack exactly what large language models are actually doing behind the scenes and how they behave across a few different platforms. So let's just dive right in.
I want you to picture a friend who has read almost everything ever written. You ask them something and they're not, looking it up in some mental filing cabinet. Instead, they're just completing your sentence based on patterns from everything they've ever absorbed. This is really the ultimate magic trick of artificial intelligence. It totally feels like you're talking to this all-knowing oracle, right? But really, you're interacting with a system that's just predicting the most likely next word, over and over again, based on massive amounts of reading. And understanding that core concept, well, that explains both why AI sounds so incredibly fluent and why it can sometimes be so confidently wrong.
So here's our roadmap for today. Number 1, the mechanics. Number 2, the complication. Number 3, platform showdown. And number 4, your in-class activity. All right, kicking things off with section 1, the mechanics, predicting the next word. Let's break down the actual tech behind that well-read friend analogy. Whenever we say large language model, or LLM, we're talking about a system that generates text by predicting the next token. Now, what exactly is a token? Think of it as a fundamental linguistic unit. Sometimes it's a whole word, sometimes it's just a chunk of word. A really good rule of thumb to keep in mind is that 100 tokens is roughly equal to about 75 words. So ultimately, the AI is acting like a wildly elaborate autocomplete. It's just mathematically calculating the probability of the next token in a sequence, all based on billions of parameters it learned during training. You know, there's this persistent myth out there that when you ask an AI a question, it's frantically querying this giant database of hard facts. That is completely false. The reality is that the AI doesn't actually know anything in the way humans do. It's not pulling a file for you, it is purely predicting the most likely next word based on patterns and structures it picked up from human language. It's basically doing surface-level reasoning through really sophisticated pattern matching. To really drive this point home, let's look at a classic example. If you give an LLM the prompt, I think, therefore I, the AI prediction is going to be am, literally every single time. Why? Because mathematically, based on all the text it's been trained on, it is incredibly probable that the word am follows that specific sequence. It just recognizes the structure and gives you exactly what is statistically expected. And that brilliantly brings us to our next concept, stochasticity. Now, stochasticity is basically just the randomness factor built right into the model. Think about it. If an AI always picked the absolute most likely next word, it would be incredibly boring and robotic. So a little randomness gets injected in. If you prompt it with, to edit an image I use blank, it starts evaluating probabilities. It might see a 50% chance the next word should be Photoshop, a 30% chance for GIMP, and say a 15% chance for Canva. Because of stochasticity, if you ask it that exact same question 4 times in a row, you won't always get Photoshop. You'll get slightly different responses based on those underlying probabilities. But as you can probably guess, this whole token prediction mechanic isn't perfect. Which leads us to section 2, the complication. Confident, but sometimes wrong. This brings up a major, absolutely crucial consequence you need to be aware of: hallucination. Sometimes people call it confabulation. This happens when an AI generates totally false or fabricated information, but delivers it with supreme, unwavering confidence. Why on earth does it do this? Well, the AI is trying to optimize for multiple goals at once. And very often, its goal of making you happy by giving you a complete, satisfying response completely overrides its goal of being accurate. So if it doesn't have the info, it'll just confidently guess. This is exactly how you end up with AI citing totally fake legal case laws or recommending medical drugs that literally do not exist. It really helps to think about it like a crossword puzzle challenge. An LLM is fantastic at surface-level pattern matching. Give it a single crossword clue, and it will probably nail the answer because it's seen similar patterns before. But ask it to solve the entire puzzle, it struggles big time. It can't easily handle deep, interconnected logical constraints, like ensuring a word perfectly fits with 3 other intersecting words. Because again, it's just predicting tokens. It's not actually reasoning through the puzzle the way your mind does. And that perfectly tees up this really powerful quote from our sources. We were seduced by the AI's confidence, but confidence without accuracy isn't just a research problem, it's a universal challenge. This highlights a huge issue, which is that generative AI really struggles with self-correction. If you challenge an AI on a wrong answer, it often won't just immediately say, oops, my bad. Instead, it'll use those next token prediction skills to try and rationalize its own fiction. It doubles down on the hallucination rather than just admitting it doesn't know the answer. So knowing these mechanics and these limitations is essential. But how does this actually play out across different tools out there? Let's get into section 3, Platform Showdown, comparing AI platforms. If you run the exact same prompt across the 4 major platforms right now, you are going to get very different results. And it's not simply a matter of one being right and the others being wrong. It's all about how they were trained and their unique stylistic quirks. For example, ChatGPT tends to be super conversational and well-structured. Claude, on the other hand, is known for being highly nuanced, really detailed, and it focuses heavily on safety guardrails. Gemini is fast and heavily integrated into the Google ecosystem, so it pulls recent web context really well. And Microsoft's Copilot, that leans way into business use cases, offering very concise, heavily cited summaries. The platform you choose totally changes the flavor of the output you're going to get. All right, bringing it all home with section 4, your in-class activity and quiz 1 prep. Let's see how all of this builds directly into what you're doing today. First things first, a quick overview of the quiz so there are 0 surprises for you. Quiz 1 is going to be exactly 8 questions long. The difficulty is set right at the recall level, meaning we're just testing your foundational understanding of the core concepts we've covered, including the stuff we talked about today. It's going to cover everything from sessions 1 through 3, so definitely review your notes, especially regarding those LLM mechanics we just went over. Now, to lock in your understanding of everything we just covered, here is your immediate in-class activity. Step 1, crack open your laptops and pull up at least 2 different AI platforms. Pick your favorites, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Copilot, whatever you like. Step 2, run the exact same prompt through both of those systems. And step 3, review the outputs and complete your short comparison sheet. I want you to look really closely for those differences in tone, style, and structure that we just talked about. I want you to see that stochasticity and platform variance with your very own eyes. So as you jump into that activity, I want to leave you with one final kind of provocative thought to chew on. If an AI is really just predicting the most statistically likely next word, who is actually responsible for the truth of the final sentence? You are. You're the editor, the fact checker, and the final line of defense against those hallucinations. Keep that front of mind as you test out these platforms today. Have a great time with the activity, good luck studying for quiz 1, and we will see you all next time.